So guys, you want to pitch to television, huh? You want to go out to Hollywood and Hollyweird, La La Land. Well, I've done it more than a few times, and I wanted to share some tips. Nothing magical, nothing that's going to change your life, but hopefully it'll help you. So let's get started. Pitching to Hollywood. So, know your show. Sounds really easy. Of course, I know my show, of course. But you'd be surprised at how many people just don't do that due diligence. They don't do the research. Watch the show. Watch at least a season, a dozen, 2 dozen episodes, as much as you can. And know the show inside out. Know the producers, the staff. Know the fan base. If you're a fan, great. But if you're not, because might be opportunities to write for a show, for a television show that you're not a fan of. So know who's watching the show. What type of fan people love that show. Now, for me, it was easy with Star Trek. I was a fan since I was 4 years old. I love Star Trek. So it was easy. But if there's a show that you're not familiar with, get to knowing it inside and out as much as you can. Know your writer, producer, the person that you're going to have the pitch meeting with. That goes hand in hand with the show. But I know a lot of writers, they don't research the person they're going to have the meeting with. My first big meeting was with Jeri Taylor of Star Trek Voyager. Before I met with Jeri at Paramount Pictures, I looked her up, her IMDb, her resume, her work history. I found out she was a producer writer on Jake and the Fat Man, Magnum PI, and one of her first TV shows she wrote for was her Little House on the Prairie. That was lucky for me because I love Little House on the Prairie. I'm a big fan. So, but just know that person, know what they've done before, and say they're the executive producer or showrunner. Jeri Taylor was the showrunner and executive producer of Star Trek Voyager. So, but you might get a story editor, an important person on the show. They're not the highest producer, but know their work, know who they are, know what they've done before. You can bond with them. You can, have the small talk and friendliness, and that might connect you more with that person, might help you with your pitch. Bring variety to the show, to the meeting of the show. Bring a variety of premises, of ideas, of concepts, of stories. A comedy, thriller, action-packed, horror, sci-fi. Well, again, going back to my biggest experience with pitching and writing was Star Trek. So that's science fiction. It can delve into fantasy, even horror, thriller. But there's many comedies on Star Trek. Star Trek is known for its comedy, for its just laugh out loud funny. Now we have Lower Decks, a true sort of comedy, brew of Star Trek. But the old series, Next Gen, they all had great comedy. Odo and Quark on Deep Space Nine. So bring a variety, 1 or 2 thrillers, 1 or 2 dramas straight, and maybe 1 or 2 comedies. You'll get about 4 to 6 chances. It depends on the show, how many they let you. It's usually about an hour and a half. You might get 2 hours. It's possible. But bring a variety so you don't bore the person you're pitching to. And finally, prepare yourself and prepare to be challenged. They'll challenge you. They'll call you out on your ideas, your stories. I've had producers in meetings literally say, "That's shit. That's a shit idea." Or "It's predictable." Or "It's cliche. That's a cliche," one producer said to me. I'm like, and how are you going to react to that? So when you pitch, and definitely do practice pitches, to friends and family or anyone you can get a hold of, and ask them to challenge you and say, "I don't like that," or "That doesn't make sense to me. That's confusing," or "That's shit." And how are you going to react to it? I was pretty cool, I guess. I was like, oh well, kind of laughed it off. But this is what you'll face. And then the criticism is one thing. That's one aspect. Then you'll have, well, what should we do? Depending on what your idea is, what should we do about A, B, C? Where do we go 1, 2, 3? So think about that. Flesh your idea out more. You don't have to. You're not going to write a full script. You're not even going to write a story treatment. About a page, half a page to a page. on index cards, however you like to prep. But realize that that story idea is going to be challenged. So you have to be really fast on your feet, think on your feet, and try to give them something more or something different. So hopefully that will help you. I wish you luck. I think in final, sum up here, you just have to be yourself. You've got to be friendly. You got to be professional, and you have to be as creative and on your thinking on your feet as possible. Because even though you're a writer and you're going to be writing this part of the process is verbal. This is talking, meeting, greeting, connecting. Hope it goes well. Hope you're enjoying. Hope you're subscribing. See you soon.